First day of my new job. Sometimes you just gotta get your hands dirty yourself. You heard? Noah had to build it. I'm gonna build mine too. You heard?
Beef going on between Jim Jones and Cameron because that's been reignited.
Jim Jones is ready to crash out and lose it all after the jokes go too far. 50 Cent and Cameron is literally going to cyberbully Jim Jones into a prison. So 50 posted this video to his Instagram. In this video, he's accusing Jim Jones, Fab, and others of squatting in a building with no heat. So like the video shows like a catering company. It shows Jim Jones and others like eating, I guess, after filming their podcast. And as you can see in this video, like they are all like doubled and triple layer, which is not usually what somebody will wear indoors unless, you know, the heat is broken.
Since I'm starting the year off at the top of your Explorer. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Cameron, which is Jim Jones' arch nemesis, he adopted this joke for himself and he reposted something, a do-it-yourself project where it's how to create heat outside, like out of a steel can or whatnot. You know, which is essentially saying, hey, Jim Jones here, I'm teaching you guys how to have heat since you guys' utilities aren't paid up. And Jim Jones didn't find this funny at all. Jim commented under Cameron's post, your whole crew is soft. Cameron followed up with, how you worried about me when your heat off and rent due? And then he posted with the caption, heard it was 7 degrees in the Bronx last night. Slap, laughing, 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 laughing. Jim Jones posted a tour of the very same building they're trying to evict him from that got no heat, talking about he's finna turn the empty room into a movie studio. This is a prime example of how dudes wanna appear a certain way instead of actually going out and earning the appearance, right?
Yeah, so shout out first Poetic Flacco, because that's where that clip came from. And yeah, Jim has been kind of fronting online in regards to, I guess, this space. So apparently this space that he's renting out, he's in danger of being evicted from. And just based on the video I saw, it looks like there's no heat in there because as you saw when he entered, you could see his breath. So it's very, very cold in there. And this beef, how did it start? It started with 50 Cent, really.
This beef goes back. This beef goes back.
Yeah, they're always going to go back and forth.
This goes back to the verses with him and Cam. But this is deep with Jim.
These two are gonna be clowning for the rest of eternity. But I'm not gonna front, man. It breaks my heart a little bit because I remember the days of Dipset. I remember the days of Cameron, Jim Jones, Joel Santana. And it was such a big part of hip hop and the culture that it kind of make you sad to see the way it ended. Like they're just gonna be forever, man. Like why y'all can't squash this shit and get this money together, B? That's my question, man.
This is like, I think somebody said his ego, Jim's ego is definitely bruised. This is deep because I was thinking about it today. I was thinking about it, and Jim in a way should feel a certain type of way, especially when it comes to the dips. Because when you think about the Dipset, you know what I'm saying? He kind of does get disrespected. When you think of the dips, you're always going to think Cam first. Then you're going to think of Jules. Then hell, you might think of Hellrell and
Freaky. If anybody.
Okay, and so boom.
And even before, I'm not even gonna lie. I think Cam, Freaky, Joel, just because he used to always be the face. He used to really be the face of Dipset.
And you know, Jim is always downplayed. Like he's never top 4, 5 when you talk about Dipset rappers. Jim Jones comes mostly behind Hellrell and J.R. Ryder. So he'll never get over that, even though he played a very major part in Dipset from what we saw. But at the end of the day, it just goes to show you that they weren't really friends. They were guys who got together and got money. Because you don't talk about your friends like that when they're doing bad. You see what I'm saying? They weren't ever really friends. They just were guys who got together, had a common goal, and accomplished it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cameron said that.
You act like on your couch. You was a fan. You begged us. You are a fan. A fan. We didn't grow up with you. I am from 140th and Lenox. I am from NFL. Up the block was 40 Wolves. Lou Simpson's on 142nd Cross Square. D. Ferg on number 8th Avenue. I don't see you around none of this. You're not from none of that. So you can sit around and act like you've been around all this Harlem thing. You ever see somebody from Harlem try to act like they from Harlem so bad that you got to keep saying, I'm from Harlem? No, from Harlem know who's from Harlem. You don't have to keep saying you from Harlem. So that's first and foremost. All this, yo, nigga, on your couch. You were fanned out and you begged niggas to come to your house after you heard all these mixtapes. That's how you got in. You was so cool. And we was like, yo, Jomo's a nice guy. Mace like, yo, I think I'll teach him how to rap. Mace actually taught you how to rap. Literally. He taught you how to rap.
Cameron was the one who mentioned that Jim Jones was the one who approached them and wanted to start a group and put together the Dipset. So, you know, they've always kind of looked down on Jim.
And another reason why Jim kind of feel the way he does is after, you know, Cam and them stopped rapping, Jules got popped, Jim carried on, still rapping. Mm-hmm. And Jim had his buzz. But after all is said and done, he's still not going to be recognized like that. And that's how I think he feels. Like he's never going to get the recognition he deserves. Now with him and 50, that's a whole different subject.
Well, why is it any different?
I mean, because, you know, 50's just going to troll you to death.
So 50 has joined in on the fun dissing Jim Jones, and he put no heat over Jim Jones in his like studio. And then they had the wind sound effect in the background. Cameron even in the comments with the laughing emoji. But here's the thing that got me. You got Maino in the studio, and this is the same video, by the way. Bro said the wind cutting through that building something crazy. Look at boy's face. And listen, Jim Jones went back to the studio just to show people what's going on. And you could see, it's hard to see right here, but if you go to the video on his page, you can see him talking and you can see his breath. That's how cold it is in there.
Yeah.
50's just going to troll you to death. Cam more than likely will give you bars. Cam will possibly rap. It possibly
Cam still rap.
That's what I'm saying. There's possibly diss tracks that could be, you know, going back and forth with these two, but 50 ain't rapping.
Mm-hmm.
I think 50 told them, you know, y'all put a hit single together and I'll give y'all a diss track. I think that was his reply. So I'm just, you know.
Okay. Now, this back and forth between Cameron and Jim Jones, it's sad, but, well, why do you feel it's sad? I thought this was the way they all felt about each other.
Well, okay, if you look at it from just a fan's standpoint, a fan's viewpoint, it's the Dipset. It's Harlem. Now, Harlem, you know, Harlem money together. That's what they do. You've always seen these, for the most part, together, making moves together.
And at the end of the day,
and at the end, it's Dipset. Like, it's still Dipset. Like, I know we might be, I ain't gonna say talking shit, but, you know, just as far as our point of view, you know, we just calling it how we see it. Cam, Jules, Freaky, Jim, and that, you know, that was Dipset.
Do you think they're destroying their legacy?
No, of course not. You can't destroy that. Only thing this shows is that, you know, everything ain't always
what it seems.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the verses. The verses is the prime example of one set of guys who rock with each other, and another set of guys who
deal
with each
or
other.
Put up with.
Yeah, the Locks rock with each other. Not saying they're best friends or nothing, but they rock with each other. Do shows all the time, stuff like that. They have this thing. They're a group.
Chemistry.
A real live group. Chemistry, everything. Then you have the Dips. They deal with each other. And then you can see the fragments in the Dips because now Freaky, you know, talking about Jim and stuff like that, because I think Jim called him like a bitch, you know, a BAN, you know, stuff like that.
Called him soft.
Called him soft.
Really? Oh, really? Now you putting this on the gram? Everybody knows.
Tough as in Dipset is Freaky Zeke by far. It's not even close.
You're reaching now, coming at me, bitch ass. You need to be reaching for some kerosene. You need to be reaching for some coals. You need to be reaching for 2 rocks and strike them shits together. I ain't even mad at you, brother.
Of all the people in Dipset to call soft, like, why?
The one Cam said was the toughest by any
And I'm just
stretch
saying,
of the
like,
imagination.
That nigga, like the few interactions I've ever had with Z, he was cool as hell, but that a live wire. Like, he is a live wire.
But and then Jim still has too much of the streets.
Cool as hell.
Because he talk about pull up. God, we're 50.
Didn't he try to pull up on Dame Dash in Harlem?
I saw that clip.
Yeah.
Okay, so Freaky Zeke responds to Jim Jones saying that him, Cameron, and their whole crew is soft by posting a video of Dame Dash coming down to Jim's block asking for a fade, and Jim Jones refusing even though his guys were encouraging him to get busy.
Did you see the whole clip?
I mean,
because he was going to have his guys jump Dame. He wasn't going to fight.
See, that's
Dame.
sad.
He was going to have his guys jump Dame. He was talking like
I ain't mad with shooting the fair one still, yo.
He
I don't care how old you are.
He was going to fight it, but his intentions were to have his guys jump Dame. That's what happened.
Y'all got a problem with them trying to do a fair one, a fisticuffs, for real?
No, but I mean, if you're going to call a man out like that, like he was doing in the clip, then you should be ready to do
But
at
that's
least
the
square up.
problem.
That's what I'm
Why
saying.
are you calling another grown man out to fight? We're past those days.
Maybe then, hey, you can never be past a good fight.
That is true.
I don't see. And this is, and see, this. I guess this is where
When the last time you had a fight?
it doesn't matter. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm about to say. This is where the confusion and the generation gaps have come in at. Remember, you can fight forever.
Fight forever.
How many times you gonna get clapped at? If you're lucky enough, how many
True.
times?
True.
You see what I'm saying? If you either know I can whip this ass, or I can't, or it's the other one like, oh, he got me this time. I got caught slipping. I'm gonna see you next time. You see what I'm saying? You never outgrow that. People talk so much. You don't want to. I ain't talking about like ass whipping like with a belt, but these ain't kids no more. You're not about to just get a belt
grown.
and just bend over and and get the threat. No, a good left, right, patting Charlie ass kicking. Ain't nothing wrong with that, yo. I prefer you to be out here putting your hands and putting the beats on each other than shooting at each other.
We're too grown to be.
Ain't no too grown. If you
don't
disrespect
rock with
me
each
to the
other-
point where
If you don't rock with each other, then just don't rock with each other. You're too old to be fighting. First of all, that might lead to charges. Don't nobody want to go to.
do something organized. Organize. Y'all are so business savvy. Wallow and Gilly got the boxing shit.
thing, yeah.
Set that up.
Yeah,
Set that up.
You could definitely make some money. People
Set
gonna tune in to see
that up. You see what I'm saying? Like
Jim
that's
Jones
a
versus Camden in a
worthwhile
boxing
fight
match.
to see. As far as just all that blah 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 blah. Dude, it's nothing wrong with a good old fashioned ass
you can
whipping.
make money off it. You can make big money off of this because a lot of people go to tune in to see Jim Jones and Cameron square up in a boxing ring.
And he said, Jomo, you 50 and still want to pull up. I got the video of you breaking in your own studio trying to trigger the heat system and chasing your landlord around in his car because he won his rent. You are 50. Go pull up on that heating bill. And Cameron also taunted Jim Jones by posting that instructional video with the barrel on.
I mean, that's funny. That was funny.
Like Buddha said, keep it out the streets, take it to a boxing ring, and have people pay for it. And
Because y'all ain't in y'all 20s no more. Y'all ain't goons like y'all allegedly used to be no more.
But like Buddha said, it's still sad. At the end of the day, it's super
Well, Jim
sad.
called it free promo. He said, thank you for
Everything
the
is free promo.
It is,
Everybody,
but
these are
it's still
businessmen.
sad.
These are all businessmen we're talking about here.
Yeah.
They're getting mentioned. Now they're going to be all in the algorithms and all that.
Yeah, I think Jim Jones' ego, because that video that I saw, the tour that he did of his place, and it did not look presentable.
On top of that, his biggest hit balling, they give Max B the credit for that. Like Jim Jones doesn't get the credit for anything.
Well, did he write balling or not? I mean, I think that can
he
be
might have
proven.
wrote the lyrics, but I think Max wrote the hook. You see what I'm saying? And he don't even get credit for balling, his biggest hit. Like Jim definitely, like I say, I can in one hand see why he feels like that, because he's never going to get the credit he kind of deserves. But you're not bigger than Cam. I don't know if you're bigger than Jules.
You don't.
I don't know if Jim, because like I said, Jim carried his career on. Jules stopped. You know, like
So Jim gets credit for longevity. I guess durability.
You know, he says he's the one who carried the name on, which in a way he did, because he was the one still rapping, but everybody had moved on from rap on to other ventures, really. Cam was still rapping, but he wasn't rapping like that. He was into other ventures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's very interesting to see. I'm interested to see how this plays out, because in my opinion, it seems like Cameron and 50 kind of ganged up on Jim Jones. And it started with 50 making that comment about the heat being off, and then Cameron following it up with that Instagram post about why are people worried about me when the heat's off. That just came out of nowhere. Unless, was there anything Jim Jones said?
That's what I'm about to say. It must have been some other interaction, because why would you, how does that just get triggered?
No idea.
Yeah, because that came out of left field, especially when it was 50 and Jim Jones going back and forth. Cameron just jumped in
But
the
you know,
fight.
50 and Cam, that if they beef, so you know,
They teamed up.
like
Why not? They're both corporate.